On Reddit and YouTube, in particular YouTube, the amount of people who talk about efficient leveling is staggering. And it's such a boring way to play the game. And I want to highlight that there's really like no rewards whatsoever. And I don't really want to be the guy who calls out one specific video, but because look, there's so many, obviously. But in one of these it says, stop. Before you level up in Oblivion, make sure to get a paper and a pencil and write things down. Like plan it all out. I hate that. I'm a mega nerd. I teach math for a living, and this is still a huge problem in Oblivion. This is not a fun way to play a video game. And honestly, I think the leveling system in Oblivion is incredible. It's one of the best systems ever created. I'm going to have a different video defending that. This video, I really want to focus on 3 ways to not suck at Oblivion, because I think that's kind of that's the crux of the issue here. The first thing you're going to want to do is join the Mages Guild. That is a requirement to be good at this game. You got to do the recommendation quests. You need custom spells. In Skingrad, there's a guy, Sullianus, whatever, I can't pronounce his name. He's in the Skingrad Mages Guild. You can watch here and watch me find him. Buy all of the weakness spells from him. He doesn't sell weakness to magic, but you can't get that until you have 50 destruction anyway. Get the other ones. That's all you need for right now. Let's say your damaging spell is going to be fire. Make this custom spell right here. This spell costs 26 mana if you only have 33 destruction, and it only goes down from there. If you really need to do 5 seconds because you have no int, no intelligence, fine, but it's going to be even cheaper then. If you have a fire enchanted weapon or a 25 fire touch spell, or even if you're still stuck with that 6 fire damage, this spell is going to decimate your opponent's early game. It makes a massive difference because it's so cheap. It's very easy to get a 5 or 10 fire enchant on your weapon, and 100% weakness to fire makes a big difference. Doubling your damage is just too good. You can't pass that up because I don't know why you would. This is way more important than getting 100 agility, personality, or willpower by efficient leveling. And by endgame, this is the spell you're going to use. And this makes your 25 shock damage weapon enchant that you got from a sigil stone deal 100 damage every swing. That's massive, and you're not doing that without this setup. The next thing is magic as well. You got to use feather. You should be buying a spell to get feather. You can make a custom spell. It doesn't just increase your carry weight, it makes you move a lot faster. You know, if you look at my orc right here, is a low-level character wearing heavy armor, moving ridiculously slow. If I used feather to make all of that weight 0, I'd move like this. It's a lot faster. It's very noticeable. Here, I'll do it again in case you weren't watching. Okay, so if you look, this is heavy armor, really slow. You feel it. You notice it. You're not going to catch enemies that are running away from you. No armor, as in I'm using feather. My weapon doesn't weigh anything now. This character has like 30 speed. This is a brand new orc, maybe 35 tops. This is a massive difference in the game, and that costs almost no mana. At 33 alteration, you could get 100 feather for 2 minutes. That's a custom spell. It'll cost 40 mana. This is free. It's absolutely worth it. It's very easy. Do it. Okay, for the last thing, something I see struggling players doing is they try to use skills that aren't their majors. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to work the system and get extra attributes. Now, it's not entirely wrong to run around with a hammer or your fists and kill some mud crabs for 10 minutes. Those will increase your strength upon level up. You know, and this is assuming you picked blade as a major skill. You can pick some flowers, raise your alchemy, jump around for acrobatics, and level lots of skills at the same time. However, nearly all the other times when you're playing the game, when you're fighting enemies that are challenging to you, and you're not just running around training and goofing off, you should be using your blade because that's your major skill, or destruction if that's your major skill. Because those are the skills that will level quickly. Because they are major, they level almost twice as fast. It's a massive difference. And if they match your specialization, they are twice as fast. And they're just going to be way more powerful. Now, I made a different video with this tier list that I showed, and really you do have a lot of good options. Just please don't pick speechcraft or security or some of that other garbage. You want to make sure you're picking a damaging skill like blade. And honestly, I think destruction is just so powerful. It'd be a terrible idea not to pick one, especially like we talked about weakness. Now, these formulas They're here to show you how much damage you're trying to gain by min-maxing strength, but ignoring weapon skill. And let's talk about the exact difference. If you go from 0 to 100 blade, that's an 850% damage increase. While going from 0 to 100 strength is only a 66% damage increase. And keep in mind, you don't start at 0 strength. You don't start at 5 strength. You start at 40 to 50, maybe 55. But if you don't choose blade as a major, you might start at 5 blade. That's why you could do like 1 damage with your weapons at the start, because your skill is so low when you're in the sewers. And look, here's the exact difference per point. Every point of blade is 3 times more valuable than every point of strength. And you're gaining more blade skill than you are gaining strength. If you're an orc warrior who picks strength as your favorite attribute, you start at 65. You only have 35 strength to gain. That's the equivalent of gaining that's less than gaining 12 blade. And even if you pick blade as a major and it matches your race and it matches your specialization, you still have 55 points to level. It's way more valuable than strength. It's super important. So don't focus so much on your attribute. Get your skills up. I want to talk about all this more in future videos, especially what I think about the leveling systems. But I just want to wrap up by saying use skills that you picked as majors, use good skills, use destruction, use either blade or blunt. Use alchemy. Those things will help you. And when they get to 100, even if your attributes take a few extra levels to get to 100, you will feel significantly more powerful. That's all I got. Thanks.